We have some breaking news coming in here on Republic TV, and that is on the anniversary of demonetization. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley has written a blog on the note ban, and we're getting you details of that blog of Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. And he said that the important objective of demonetization was to make India a less cash economy and thereby reduce the flow of black money in the system. And the blog has been written by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. November 8, 2016, a watershed moment in Indian history is what he has said. Arun Jaitley, a year after demonetization, is the name of the blog. The blog is there on your screens, and if I can read out from it, November 8 will be remembered as a watershed moment in the history of Indian economy. This day signifies the resolve of this government to cure the country from quote-unquote dreaded disease of black money. We the Indians were forced to live with this attitude of quote-unquote chalta hai with respect to corruption and black money, and the brunt of this attitude was faced particularly by the middle class and lower strata of society. And he goes on to write about where the country is participating in anti-black money day. A debate as well was started whether the entire exercise of demonetization has served any purpose, and his counter to that is that the important objective of demonetization was to make India a less cash economy and thereby reduce the flow of black money into the system. In fact, he's gone on to say that the reduction in currency circulation from the base scenario reflects that this intended objective has been met. And he's talking about the published figure of currency in circulation for the half year ending September 2017, 15.89 lakh crore rupees, the figure that's been quoted. And he's saying that this shows year-on-year variation of 1.39 lakh crore rupees, and that overall 3.89 lakh crore rupees of currency circulation has been reduced, which he says is the intent of demonetization, is to go towards a less cash economy and thereby reduce the flow of black money into the system. This is Finance Minister Arun Jaitley's blog titled "A Year After Demonetization," that's on your screens, in which the Finance Minister has blogged about the benefits of demonetization, and more importantly how the intended objective of demonetization has indeed been achieved. And on your screens is that blog. Excerpts of that blog is what I'm bringing you, the highlights of the blog, essentially this written by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley that we're breaking for you, and it's on your screens. A year after demonetization is the name of the blog. We'll get you more details on what else is there on this blog. You can check it out for yourself as well. And we're getting some views on it as well. Keep in mind, it's just we're just a day away from the 8th of November, the big anniversary. And he's talking about the anti-black money day. A debate was started that whether the entire exercise of demonetization has served any intended purpose. And he is jumping into the debate and giving his counter, and that counter is there in the form of a blog written by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley a year after demonetization. And I'm getting you more updates as well on what are the political reactions to this blog. And he's talking about whether this narrative attempts to bring out positive outcomes of demonetization in the short term and medium term with respect to stated objectives, essentially saying that the stated objectives of demonetization has indeed been achieved as far as demonetization is concerned. This is the government going on attack mode, countering all the anti-demonetization protests that said to break out from the opposition, and the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley leading from the front with this particular blog that he's written. And there'll be others, other Modi ministers who will be batting for demonetization on the eve of the 1-year anniversary of demonetization. We're on the 7th of November. 8th of November is the big anniversary. We have Aishwarya Kapoor, our political affairs editor, joining us for more. Aishwarya, Arun Jaitley leading from the front as far as the demonetization anniversary is concerned.
Well, Krishna, that's absolutely right. Finance Minister writing this blog in this time when we know that the Congress is rather taking BJP head on. Today itself we have seen none other but the former Prime Minister of India, Manmohan Singh, taking on the demonetization and the GST steps taken by this present government, and stating that it is one of the biggest blunders which has been done by this present government. Thus, keeping this in mind, the President Finance Minister Arun Jaitley writing a blog and mentioning that why Congress feels that this is a blunder, but at the end of the day, this is nothing else but a decision which has been taken by the present political dispensation for the betterment of every common Indian. Thus, at the end of the day, Finance Minister in his blog specifying that why demonetization and GST was the need of the hour. Why did the present government take this very specific decision? So yes, at this very point of time, the Finance Minister in his blog specifying that what all are the positive activities which will be achieved after these decisions being taken by this present government, Krishna.
Right, Aishwarya, in this blog, the fundamental point of this blog happens to be that the intended objectives, the stated objectives of demonetization were indeed achieved, and the logic is presenting is that demonetization was intended to go towards a less cash economy and thereby reduce the flow of black money into the system. So that entire figure of 15.89 crore rupees of currency circulation, and not much difference in that. He's saying close to 4 lakh crore rupees of currency has been reduced in circulation, and that was the intended objective.
Krishna, because at the end of the day, since 2014 general elections, Prime Minister Narendra Modi made one thing very clear, that his government is going to have zero tolerance towards corruption. And this, according to the present political dispensation, is the strongest ever measure taken against black money and then corruption which is prevailing because of this parallel black money economy. Thus, Finance Minister in his blog once again specifying that what all has been achieved, how they have been able to cripple the hawala dealers, how they have been able to cripple a parallel black economy which was in turn adversely impacting the Indian economy. Thus, all of these are those figures and those measures which the Finance Minister is specifying in his blog. Why was this measure required? Because this is how demonetization has positively impacted the present economy. He has also specified, or rather mentioned, that at the end of the day, it will take next 3 or 4 months, and at the end of the day we will see, and the people of this country will see, that how much has been achieved by these two major measures, whether we talk about demonetization or GST. But it's not for the first time we are seeing this. We've seen the Prime Minister speaking about this. We've seen the Finance Minister speaking about this earlier as well. But this time around, keeping in mind there are not one but two assembly polls right up there, whether we talk about the Himachal elections or Gujarat elections, and the manner in which the Congress Vice President Krishna, Rahul Gandhi and the other top leadership, as we just said, as we are speaking just few minutes prior, today, the former Prime Minister of India, and who is also said to be an economist, Dr. Manmohan Singh, has taken on the government on the issue of demonetization. So the government understands that is exactly why Finance Minister has specified that why demonetization was required. It's because at the end of the day, this is what BJP had been saying, that they will cripple corruption, they will cripple this parallel black money economy, and that's exactly what they say they have achieved after the demonetization decision was taken by the Prime Minister. Krishna.
Right. Aishwarya, also Arun Jaitley making pertinent points in that blog is talking about how, corruption, the middle class is bearing the brunt of black money and corruption, and what essentially demonetization did was choke the levels of black money, and also has other benefits like choking terror in this country.
Well, that's right. He has specified that what all are those benefits which the people of this country will be getting after demonetization, whether it's a direct or an indirect. In fact, demonetization will impact each and every Indian. That has been said by the Prime Minister earlier as well, and today once again it has been specified in that blog written by the Finance Minister Krishna. Specifies that yes, a lot of problems of the common Indian will be sorted after this demonetization decision, and as far as the black money and corruption is concerned, that will be reduced to minimal. So there is no doubt about it, and that has once again been stressed in this blog which has been mentioned by the Finance Minister.
Aishwarya, also it's a crucial time, as you're rightly pointing out, to two elections coming up, and Arun Jaitley is one of the many Modi ministers who are going on the front foot to defend demonetization.
Well, absolutely, Krishna. Whether we talk about Prime Minister Modi, whether we talk about Home Minister Arun Singh, or we talk about Finance Minister's blog, all of them have been specifying it because they understand that Congress Party is trying to make demonetization and GST an adverse issue in these upcoming two Gujarat polls. The campaign for Himachal Pradesh ends today at 5 p.m. Gujarat, it's going to end in next few days as well. So this is something of which the BJP as a party also understands that they need to send out their message to the people. That why was the decision for demonetization taken? Why was the decision on GST taken? Because at the end of the day, all of this has been done so that the benefits could reach out to the common people. And this is something which is once again being sent out. The message is being sent out via blog by the finance minister today. We are going to see this being reverberated in the public speeches, whether we talk about Himachal Pradesh, whether we talk about Gujarat, all of this is going to be specified because Congress has made one thing very clear, Krishna, that Congress is going to hit out on the BJP on these two very specific issues and largely on the issue of demonetization. Congress today has called it a major blunder. Tomorrow, Congress is calling it a bad day, a black day in the Indian economy. That is what the Congress and the complete opposition party has specified. And the BJP is also worried that this might have a reverberating impact in the Gujarat Assembly polls. And that is why we are seeing government is also going on an overdrive. We are going to see, we have seen a press conference of the Home Minister earlier today. We are going to see two more press conferences in the day itself. We're going to have a 2 p.m. press conference with the BJP National President Amit Shah at 3:30. It's going to be the Finance Minister Arun Jaitley himself. And then tomorrow we are going to have a plethora. We are going to have a bombardment of all senior ministers in the present government taking on the Congress party and the opposition, sending out that why demonetization was done. So government and then party per se both understand that how important it is to send out their message when we talk about the issue of demonetization. And that's exactly why all of these senior ministers are now coming out and sending out the message to the people that why decision for demonetization was taken by Prime Minister Modi, why GST was required, and the Finance Minister has spelled it out with figures and with facts in his blog today that why demonetization was done and why GST was absolutely important in the present scenario. Krishna.
Aishwarya, as you're rightly pointing out, this blog has come at a time when, after a point, the government is expecting that there will be strong protests by the opposition. The opposition is expected to come out all guns blazing. And this is Arun Jaitley essentially trying to beat them to it a day earlier.
Well, that's right. It is going to be there. On the 8th, that is tomorrow, the complete opposition is going to have a nationwide protest. We're going to have senior leaders of the opposition, including that of the Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi, whether we talk about the senior leaders of the Congress and even their alliance partners to the parties, whether of Samajwadi and the others. So all of them are going to protest. The TMC is going to protest. A government is wary of that. Government understands the sensitivity of the matter, and specifically when Gujarat is going to go to polls within the next 20-25 days, and this is something which is a point of concern for the present government. That is why they're going to put their best foot forward. Today we are seeing 3 major press conferences. We've seen the Home Minister's press conference. We are going to have 2 more, one that of the BJP National President, the other one of Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. Tomorrow there are going to be at least half a dozen more of senior ministers, right from Minister of Information and Broadcasting, Smriti Irani, to the other senior ministers in the government. So the message is clear. The BJP is not taking it lightly. BJP is hitting back on the Congress party on the issue of demonetization, Krishna.
Right, Aishwarya Kapoor, the political affairs editor. We're also now being joined by Republic TV's executive editor, Abhishek Kapoor, from our New Delhi studios. Abhishek, I was just talking to Aishwarya about this. The government is expecting a strong backlash from the opposition, strong criticism on the anniversary of demonetization note ban. And this particular blog by Jaitley is sort of signed out of after point preempting it and giving a counter even before the attack comes in tomorrow on the anniversary.
Well, Krishna, in some ways the attack came today only with former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh repeating his a line from Ahmedabad, that too, from the home turf of Prime Minister Narendra Modi and BJP chief Amit Shah. And this blog that has been written by Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is a build-up to his pressure and obviously preempting this Congress attack. Now, there are a couple of points which I would like to mention from this blog of Mr. Jaitley, in which, the reasons that are given to justify the decision of demonetization and blunt the Congress attack. He is rooting this decision in the mandate of 2014, and the mandate was to root out corruption. So essentially, there is moral authority that is backing the decision of demonetization. That is what Union Finance Minister Arun Jaitley brings out in this blog. He also says that the mandate was also from the Supreme Court. So this question that the Congress party raises, whether the decision was based on some whims and fancies, some very utopian ideas not rooted in basic economics, and that is why perhaps the Congress party has been fielding an economist of Manmohan Singh's kind. But Finance Minister Arun Jaitley says that the decision was rooted in morality, the decision was rooted in Supreme Court's mandate, the decision was rooted in the verdict of the people of the country who wanted a change from the Chalta Hai attitude, who wanted a drastic measure to be taken so that the menace of black money and corruption is rooted out of the society, and that is what gave this government the authority and the mandate and the courage, more importantly, to go ahead with this decision, Krishna.
Right. Also, the pertinent point that Finance Minister Arun Jaitley seems to be making in this particular blog is that the questions, Abhishek, were also raised on whether did you even achieve the intended objectives of demonetization, because the criticism for demonetization is also that the goalposts kept shifting. First, it was about corruption, crackdown on corruption, black money, and then they said, no, it's about digital currency, etc., etc. And him answering that criticism and saying that the intended objective was for a less cash economy through which you reduce the flow of black money, and that 15.89 lakh crore rupees of currency circulation figure was indeed right, he's saying, and overall close to 4 lakh crore rupees of currency circulation has been reduced, and that was the intended objective.
Well, you see, Krishna, you have to look at the criticism that has come government's way. A, that the decision was based on whims and fancies, that the ultimate objectives of the whole exercise, which was a humongous exercise by all accounts, were not really delineated in detail in advance, and that the execution was not planned properly. So now, answering that, Mr. Jaitley says that the government took decisions implemented as per the earlier provisions of law. He says that the decision was well considered, planned and executed in planned manner, that the very first day of taking over the government, the decision was implemented to set up an SIT which would go into the issue of black money, how to root it out. There were earlier recommendations going back to the Congress rule of say 1970s when Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister, that recommended demonetization at much lower levels of cash in the economy, and that subsequent governments had really not gone into it because they did not have the moral courage to implement a decision of this scale, and that differentiated, essentially the moral courage differentiated this government from the earlier administrations.
Right, Abhishek Kapoor there, our executive editor, joining us on this big story that we're tracking right now, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley's blog, a year after demonetization, answering the critics of demonetization in the lead up to the anniversary of demonetization that's coming in tomorrow. Finance Minister Arun Jaitley also set to hold a press conference today as well. So all eyes on that press conference of Finance Minister Arun Jaitley. But with that, it's time for a short breather over here on the news on Republic TV. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do not go anywhere.